Hello, you are listening to the Gamer Librarian Podcast, the best podcast you can find on this side of the multiverse. I am your host, Adrian, and today I will be talking about Boruto, Yakuza, and more. All right, we are here on another glorious Monday. A lot of game news coming out. A lot of things have been surprising to me that we have to talk about here, and there's a lot of other stuff here. So, um, of course, coming up soon is The Last of Us season two, and there's talk with the actress that plays Abby, who gets hate just like in the voice actor from the game, right? And I think that's despicable that we're still seeing that, especially when like Abby isn't even like we don't even know what this version of Abby is for season two, and we know that like it takes liberties and changes with it, and I think it's just unwarranted and it's disgusting the kind of like hate that you would get just for people just playing something that was already pre-written for them to just playing someone else's creation. It's actually crazy. The writers aren't getting it. I don't think Neil Druckmann got hate about it, and it's just stupid. I think it's really dumb. So I'm super excited for Last of Us season two. I can't even wait for it to start. I want to just binge all of it. I want to play the second game as well, just because the second game is actually so good, so much better than the first. So I'm just excited. I think it's going to be so great. And super big surprise is that on Kickstarter there's going to be a Sinking City 2. I was surprised just to see it. Right, it's a Lovecraft game, and I think it's pretty fun. So there's a whole Kickstarter. You guys can go check it out if you want. But I'm super surprised to see it get a sequel. Like I thought it would be like a one and done kind of thing, and it's just not. And I thought it was very surprising. The Sinking City first game is actually pretty fun for what it is. It's like your generic like A game. It feels like an indie A game, and yeah, it's just it's not that too bad. I like HP Lovecraft games. If you like them, you know what you're getting. It has a little bit of I think combat, and it's a little janky, so maybe it'll be better. I haven't seen the trailer. Apparently it is, but I'm just surprised to talk about it. Looking forward to seeing if it fulfills its Kickstarter goal and stuff. That's actually pretty cool. And I plan on doing a recap for the Daredevil show just to get ready for the Disney Plus thing because I'm super excited for it. I know that the Captain America movie came out, and that's pretty much all I really care about. I haven't seen it, but I think maybe depending on this one, I'll probably just never watch Marvel again because I've been waiting for Red Hawk for a while, and Daredevil returning with Punisher and everything is super sick. So it's ride or die on the Daredevil show for me on that. I'll pirate it or something. I don't know if I'll pay the Disney Plus subscription for it. That's gonna be something. And I think it's pretty sad that Final Fantasy 14's Yoshi P left the board because he heralded that game throughout its entire iteration, I believe, right? So I think that it's commendable for somebody to make a game come from the brink of destruction, right? It was gone. Final Fantasy 14, the first iteration of it, A Realm Reborn, came out after like it's like just a re-release but just improved, and it's doing way better now. It's the top MMO as far as I can tell. And yeah, I think it's just crazy that this game has gone on so long and it's not going to have its creator. I think the article says that he wants to quit that work, that he'd been looking for something like that. But I'm sure that not working on a beloved video game is also kind of stings. I can understand where that may be his sentiment, but corporate stuff is pretty boring and stupid anyway, so I imagine that's a large reason why maybe he was very held back with what was available for the MMO or what he wants to do in the forward future. Because they just had Dawn Trail. I haven't played Dawn Trail. I literally just got to the end of Endwalker. I think I just have like the last few starting chapters before you start Dawn Trail, and then yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back to that game. But it's disheartening to see decisions like that change the industry. And yeah, that's more Last of Us stuff. And yeah, that's the specific news that I want to talk about. Not a whole lot, but we're gonna have a lot more, right? So like the Nintendo Switch 2 also is gonna be revealed early April. So that's something really, really cool that we're gonna talk about coming up. I'm really just mostly excited to see what their launch games is gonna look like, and then I think it's definitely gonna depend on what their future catalog might look like depending on their digital games and what's going to port from their current Switch library later on. I think that's obvious, but I think it's going to be, a pretty good piece of hardware. I'm not really even, knowledgeable on how that stuff works. So as long as it plays the game, that's fine. I'm mostly just looking forward what titles come on there because like Metroid Prime or like Metroid Prime 4 will probably be there bridge gap game that they usually have between their console generations, just like Breath of the Wild was, just like yeah, Breath of the Wild was for the Wii to the Switch, and then was it like Twilight Princess or something for the GameCube and the Wii? Yeah, so I think it'd be something like that, and something that I wanted to see this weekend, but I never really keep up with this conference. It's South by Southwest, and Hideo Kojima was there for his Death Stranding 2 presentation. I literally just watched it today. I watched his whole panel because I wanted to see what was shown off. I do wish they had like maybe a more straightforward gameplay segment. We'll probably see more about that specifically like just later. Because apparently the game comes out soon, right? June 26th this year. That's super crazy. I haven't looked specifically into the information because I don't really believe they have done that. I would have seen it at like the more major game conferences, I believe, but I don't think they went over what's specifically different about the gameplay considering Death Stranding 1 and 2. Maybe they're keeping that a secret, but from what I remember, the combat was um, pretty bare bones in terms of like an action combat game. It was more like a really uh, tight third person shooter esque. That's just the combat. I think I should maybe actually play that game again just to get a feel for it and then maybe see what will go on or maybe just watch the gameplay because it's a long game. I don't think I want to devote 80 hours to Death Stranding 1 again. But I do actually just want to see the story and experiencing it. I liked the first game when it came out. I thought it was really fun. I think the experience of being the delivery person and even though like it may not be sound like the most fun being a delivery person. Like the gameplay loop of Death Stranding, I don't actually find it to be all that bad, especially when they add in the traversal road and the map building stuff. I imagine the late game of that. 'Cause I played it at launch. I played Death Stranding at launch, so most of the map areas they were pretty barren. I did a lot of walking, and then they added like motorcycle, and I think they updated the road system. And maybe I should just actually go back and play it and see what the end game current state of Death Stranding looks like. Maybe that's kind of the point. Maybe this is like this overall arcing game for like years. Maybe that was maybe the point that they did for Metal Gear 5. I don't know. I never played Metal Gear Solid 5. I've only watched my friends specifically just play the first few parts of it, and from what I saw and from what they were telling me in the experience, they didn't like it. They did not like Metal Gear 5, and my experience with Metal Gear specifically far more now that we've been doing the replay of the series. I never properly did a game besides Revengeance early last year, and that was super great. And I would say the what I saw from Metal Gear 5 did not kind of encapsulate what I already know about Metal Gear from the base two games that came out on like the MSX or whatever it was, and then just the first Metal Gear Solid game. And we're taking a pause just now for playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 2 because a whole bunch of other games came out that we're going to talk about. But yeah, so I have very minimal experience with Metal Gear, but enough to know that like what I saw from Metal Gear 5 initially kind of really didn't even encompass, what I know of the game now, and that's pretty sad. But the experience that Stranding 1 has, I think is pretty fun, and I'm super excited to see 2. 2 is going to be so fun. It seems like they're maybe not showing so much of the gameplay. Maybe it's more so because like they've already shown off the gameplay before in the last game, and this game isn't so much different. I can understand that, especially because it's just like maybe some of that stuff is just kind of spoilerish. But I would have preferred maybe like a full to see like a trek into the game like world, like from start with your package load, and then you go out into the world and maybe you got your motorcycle stuff we already know, and maybe some like combat just to see what's new or added. It doesn't really show that at what we saw South by Southwest, which I don't know. It doesn't really rub me the wrong way, but I did like what I saw. The game looks super clean, super polished, and I'm hyped to play on the PS5. That's going to be super fun. We already alluded to what games we were already playing before. So we were playing Monster Hunter. I got far more into Wilds. I'm on the high gear, high tier weapon and gear now, which is pretty cool. And I've killed pretty much all the monsters as far as I could tell. Um, Not the Apex monsters or whatever, but I'm gonna try and get through that stuff and get through whatever updates they're gonna have. I know they put out like today, which adds like I think a whole new monster and I think two quests or something, which is cool. So gonna intermittently do some Monster Hunter Wilds, but I think I'm mostly done. I did re-download World, and I want to, fully dive into World. I do like the kind of gameplay loop that Monster Hunter offers. Now that I understand it much more, so it's actually pretty enjoyable. So Wilds I'll be playing intermittently between World and stuff, but the big game that I just got was Yakuza Like a Pirate, and I played the first Like a Dragon game. I never finished it. I got like, man, it feels like 100 hours into it, and I got to like a part where the uh, combat was, like the RPG stuff was really difficult, and I just didn't want to go back or train or go back to a save or stuff. I just like paused. But I wanted this game just because it has pirate stuff, and there's a certain game series that did pirate stuff, and they're not doing anything else, and they made a pirate game, and that pirate game is so bad. And I just really wanted to play a good pirate game, and this game is just as good. It doesn't even have like the turn-based RPG like the first Like a Dragon game. It has a more action-oriented combat, which is pretty cool. There's a other game in the middle. I never played it just because this game was $10 less, and I just wanted the quick and easy game, not like another 100-hour romp. I want to get through the Metal Gear Solid game eventually, but I wanted a decent, funny, goofy action game to play, and Yakuza Like a Pirate is definitely hitting that vibe. It's fun to play a pirate game. I'm just gonna say it. It's fun to have a little ship and a crew. They have songs. It's so enjoyable, and it even has like the things they have is all the stuff that's pretty much just in um, Black Flag for Assassin's Creed. And I think about Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed, and every time I look at Shadows, I'm like, man, the game they wanted is not the game they got. As a fan back then who really wanted a specific Japanese setting Assassin's Creed game just because the setting of Japan, medieval Japan, is awesome. And maybe it seems like they're not doing it justice. I'm not a historian. I really could not even go into the realm of what would be accurate for that time period. But I can say that if the people who are native live there and love the history, who are part of that history, say it's wrong, then they say it's wrong. So that is a big reason why I will not get that game. I don't know if that was the case for the other previous games, like the newer ones, Odyssey and stuff. I don't know how accurate they are besides the mythological stuff. But I draw the line at like, being inaccurate when you kept saying your, foundation is being accurate to that large degree. Not even to mention the gameplay looks horrendous, and I can't believe they're doing two characters that split the gameplay mechanics between the two. I actually can't believe that. I think it should just be one and one. It should just be one and one, or make a character or something, regardless of whatever else is happening. So, Ubisoft, I won't be, playing a game by them for a while. And to go play Yakuza Like a Pirate if you want a pirate game, or you want a gangster game, or you want a fun, goofy kind of RPG. It has RPG elements, which is kind of fun. I also tried out a game, Sonic Colors. It's been a while since I played a Sonic game other than Frontiers, and this game is free on PSN. So I tried it out, and the controls are really not that good. I don't know what it is. I don't like the controls, but I do think that like this. I know this is a newer Sonic game, but I just feel like they should definitely try something that's just fundamentally maybe a little different than just the overall paths of just running forever stuff. I don't know. Maybe like fundamentally some kind of different gameplay loop than just picking a level and starting that. Because I did that, and it's just like, all right, now I'm just gonna do this, and that's the game. I'm just gonna hit A. I'm gonna stop periodically and not go fast, and then try to get the collectibles. And I know that's like very fundamentally the core of Sonic for a very fun like long time before the 3D games. I understand that, but man, uh it's a little boring. It's a tiny, tiny bit boring. I don't say that because like it's a newer Sonic game, and I'm just like, oh, this just feels like literally the same thing. It feels like literally the same thing. And when I say like when I want to compare it, I want to compare it to like new Super Mario Bros. Compared to like Mario Bros. In like the 80s, right? The new Super Mario Bros. It's sort of like on the DS where you can uh like have more power ups. The running animations are super clean. Not that the animations are bad in the new Sonic game, but there's far more gameplay mechanics and things that were added that make the game a little more enjoyable. Even though the same thing's the same, it's just side scrolling. So I don't know if I'll go back to Sonic Colors, but it was just a game I wanted to try out because it was free, and I tried it out, and I don't like the controls. They're a little weird on the PS 5 controller or something. I do gotta get like a new controller though, just because uh, that one's getting like a little broken. So maybe it's the controller, maybe it's me, but it felt like it was the controls itself. And yeah, that's really just the games we're playing. So there's not really much else to say on that. I will try and do Metal Gear Solid 2. That's really the forefront, and we're gonna definitely finish the Metal Gear series before Death Stranding comes out. That's gonna be for sure the plan. Uh, and obviously Monster Hunter intimately, and I don't know what else games we're gonna play. Right, Yakuza's gonna be finished clearly. We'll probably talk about it obviously more next episode, and definitely could try and finish Metal Gear by then, so we can just keep the ball rolling. And I don't know else what games we're gonna play. I don't really have a foresight. I haven't really planned what I'm going to do. I think Ape Escape. Ape Escape at some point. Maybe we'll try and do Ape Escape right before Death Stranding 2 comes out after Metal Gear. That's probably going to be the wave. I don't really have any other games that are coming out that I know about that I care about. Death Stranding 2 I found out comes out in June, which is crazy. I knew it was like going to be this year, but June is June is pretty early. Maybe they'll have like some surprise gameplay stuff around E3 or some game conference for Sony when that day. Um, Maybe like July or something. But it's definitely gonna be really cool to see this Death Stranding come out in the summer. I'm excited. It's gonna be so fun. I do think it's time for us to talk about our sponsor, Dubby. Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like other energy drinks. We also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acid, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby is an energy drink powder that is produced in FDA registered and inspected facilities in the United States. If you use the code GAMERLibrarian, you can receive 10% off your order on things like drink powders, apparel, portable bottles, stickers, and bags. That's if you use the coupon code down below at checkout. You know, I do love a good story, and the Death Stranding story is convoluted and weird, and I'm torn between going back to playing the original game and but just watching it and then seeing what it had. I don't really want to devote 80 hours of my specific time to that game again, but I do want to see what current Death Stranding is. Maybe I'll just take a look, but the story has me captivated, and I can say that I watched a lot of good movies lately, some really good movies that have phenomenal stories. Sawsec Redemption and Good Will Hunting, just did really just, give those two a shout out because they're just fundamentally so great. And if you've seen them, but they're so awesome. Sawsec Redemption is about a man who goes to prison. That's pretty much just it. It's a prison movie. I can't say anything else. Good Will Hunting, it's a smart kid who uh fills out equations on like college board, even though he's a janitor at the school. That's that's how it starts. I can't really give into more details. It has Matt Damon in it. It's pretty cool, pretty cool. But yeah, we all have good stories. I can't really go into say what makes a good story or not. I just, it's very compelling to tell what uh, moments are key to us in stories, what sticks out, what maybe writers trying to say. And all I can say is that, I talk about stories here all the time. I won't say what is good or bad about certain things. I just kind of say, how I feel about it, how I experienced reading it and all that stuff. That's why I read the DC and Marvel stuff so often. I try to just, talk about my feelings while I'm reading it and not really or not like the writing is accurate or true. I think the themes are there, right? But there's a whole other videos that can, deep dive into what, writing may or may not be, good or not. So I don't really care about that. What I care about is whether or not it's entertaining or enjoyable if the experience for me was fundamentally really fun. So, we've been reading the DC Marvel comics and they have themes like class warfare, right? That seems to be like the class divide. Those no real comics coming out like right now this week. I think we're gonna get the Martian Manhunter and the Flash like coming up soon. I'm more excited to talk about those in the future. But something else that I've been reading chapter by chapter, it feels like, is manga. And these mangas have great stories. I've been talking about them for a while. And one of them is one that's very beloved to me. I think a lot of them to a lot of everybody. And it was finished at a long time ago. It had a finale, and I think the finale was pretty divisive for a moment. And I specifically never cared for it. I kind of found it more intriguing rather than not. I was like, oh, in my opinion, Naruto was now going to go in the direction of the origin of chakra. Like as far as I could tell, I don't know specifically the lore of it, but the last time I even read Naruto, finally watched it was like junior year of high school. It ended maybe a little sooner than that. That's when like I about finished it properly. Was junior year of high school, and I thought it was pretty cool. And I was like, maybe in the future we'll get like a sequel. And lo and behold, they did announce it. They had put out Boruto. And from there, it just kind of felt like things were downhill. It felt like things just never could have caught directly. Um, what I remember first is that they put out a movie, right? I think they put out the movie before anything else. And the movie kind of felt like a weird sequel, like the same way like Goku's Legacy movie, I think it is, or Hero's Legacy is a weird sequel to GT. Yeah, just properly. That's what I feel like. That's the best way I could describe it. And the movie also did feature an alien, and I believe it alluded to the whole karma stuff. So I haven't watched it, but that's just what I'm remembering from the top of my brain when I watched it when it came out, like over a decade ago. And then they did the manga. The manga started, and it was really slow. So I know that the writer maybe wanted to quit and stuff. So I'm not really going to go into that because I like Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball did the same thing. I'm not going to say whether or not this is like it's the same thing, whether or not the writer died or left or not. I think it's the same thing. We're still trying to just enjoy what is new, current, or whatever. So Boruto manga starts, and I think it starts really cool. I think it has one of the coolest like openings the for like an adaptation sequel or whatever that you can see. There's a little bit of nuance to the new state of the world. Like the introduction to the new characters. You like I think as a fan, you know a little more. Like the depth of knowing Naruto before kind of really adds to it. And then you meet the main character at first, and Boruto is pretty insufferable in the beginning. And then I'm gonna say it. You spend time with him, you understand like his kind of position in the world, which I think is pretty cool as a dynamic, as a parallel to his father Naruto, which is awesome. I do like that. And before we even get to like try to spoiler it, because I really don't want to. I would much rather you get into Naruto and Boruto for just being interested in things about ninjas and cool fights and stuff. So other than anything with the specific plot of Boruto, the only thing I can say is that it just spends too much time in Konoha village and like the Leaf village, and it focuses a little too much on Boruto and Naruto, and then it's kind of mostly Naruto. That's kind of just what I feel like. I would have liked it a little bit more if it had more of the world of Naruto, and it really just has the life of Naruto. It's just the life of Naruto, and it's not the Naruto world anymore. The only other village that we kind of see in the entirety of the manga that I've seen is only the Sand Village, and you'll see a little bit of Gara. That's not a spoiler, and then you see like maybe the other Kage, and that's about it. You don't really see anything else of the world specifically. Not to mention like there are new locations and there's new characters, but they're far more plot fundamental than just kind of maybe seeing what else maybe changed in the world. And something else that changed in the world is the use of technology, which I fully accept. I really dig that. I think that's awesome. Naruto had technology before. We know that they had like voice stuff, they had cameras and stuff. I don't care that the technology advanced. I just care that it makes sense that it's utilized well. And they had like Orochimaru doing like science on children and stuff. Who cares how things are done, right? They have like giant frogs popping out of nowhere and stuff. It really doesn't matter. Um, it is a little goofy even with some of the tech stuff, but I don't mind it. There's things like germ warfare being used and like someone's Sharingan noticing the germs, which is awesome. I think that's so cool. It's little things like that that really like pushed me to get through the manga, and I really enjoy the story. The way the story is going, it really makes it like dynamic and compelling that this character is struggling. Boruto is not having a good time right now, where the current manga is, and from the beginning, he doesn't have a good time, which is, I think, pretty interesting. There's a lot of things that we don't know, and it doesn't make sense right now, and I hope that they're fleshed out in the future. But there's still a lot of story to tell, so I can only speculate on what the future would be. Um, so like if your hang up on Naruto is or Boruto is, aliens and the technology, I feel like that's like unfounded. I feel like that's just, a little like out of the realm. I get like you want a world where it's just like it's just politics and stuff, but man, just try to enjoy like a little more extra of the world, because like to me, they're going into like the origin of chakra, which is I think it's kind of cool. I think it's gonna be cool. They had a whole bunch of new stuff, but they definitely don't specifically spend time on the side characters. There's way too much focus on just the Naruto family. So like it feels like the world of Naruto is not a focus here, and it's just tell a story as fast as possible, which I think is not the best way to go. And I do say that it's kind of magnified that the world isn't the main focus like anymore, rather than just telling a story like just as quick as possible. And it's really just telling with the sequel to Boruto, to Blue Vortex. This is like the Shippuden, right? If the Naruto manga had a Shippuden, which it doesn't, it's just one straight Naruto, just like Dragon Ball kind of is with the Z in a way. They have a Shippuden version. It's a little bit of a time skip. I think it's maybe 2 or 3 years. I don't specifically remember what the number was, but it's a short amount of time, and it's only maybe 19, 20 chapters right now, but you definitely don't get a decent sense of the world even if there's a big pause, because let's be honest, when the Boruto first next generation manga ends, there is a big pause in the world because a big significant event happened, and like I said, it only really takes place in Konoha and the Leaf Village, and then like the Village of the Hidden Leaf and stuff, the Fire realm or whatever. I don't remember what the entire geography of Naruto is, but it really only takes place there. And just feel like if there was this big event, the world would be changed a little more. Like we would see a little bit more change. Like we talk about these nations and these states of power and all these kind of things. And from what the shadows, it might seem like the story is a little bigger, but it also kind of feels like it's maybe just gonna kind of wind down and become, mute. Maybe not the way that I want it to. So like I try to like speculate what could be the end result of the story as we go, which is fun. It's fun speculating what the original creators are doing, but it definitely is telling that like it's not in it for fleshing out the story for the reader. It's just, oh, I have a story to tell. This is, A, B, C, D, what happens in the story. Um, I don't remember how specific the manga is for the Naruto world, but I remember moments in Naruto where like, um, Naruto like just constantly sits down and like eats ramen, or is, the mission structure I think early on is kind of cool, but now it doesn't feel like it has time to breathe or anything like that. It definitely doesn't sound, inspiring to read, but the fights are pretty damn cool. That's, you know, pretty decent. Maybe animated, they might be better for some people, obviously, but I'm more in it for like the adventure, and the adventure is pretty decent. There's more to the story than just like technology and then ninjas, ninja terrorists, and then like aliens, right? I think the aliens part might turn people off, but there's a little more nuance to the aliens that come off. But overall, I don't mind it. I don't mind Boruto one bit. I'm still enjoying the story. I want to see where it goes. I just wish that it had a little more expansion to the world. We saw we see a little more of how the world has changed, especially with like current actions, because there's some big actions that have happened within just the world of Konoha Village and the Big Leaf Village or whatever, the Hidden Leaf Village, and it's just feels like it's not in it to flesh that out. And yeah, it's just that's just it for Boruto. Other than that, I did read the TMNT Naruto crossover, which is really enjoyable so far. Yeah, that's a comic. It's only on like its second issue, but I'm super enjoying it. I want to see where it goes. It seems pretty straightforward. It's not really gonna blow our mind or anything, but there is something pretty cool about it. They reference New York in a way that I think is pretty fun, and that's pretty much just about that. Dan the Dan 184 and 185 came out. They're pretty cool. The action's pretty fun. I like the gym teacher now is kind of becoming a villain, which is definitely deserved. Definitely deserved. I would love to see a Dan to Dan type like Persona game or something like that. That seems pretty fun. One Piece 1142. So Oda put out that the name of the world of One Piece is Blue Planet. Um, that's pretty awesome. And then we have some weird things happening with monsters popping up in Elbaf, which is pretty concerning. And then like the children are falling asleep, which I think might be the knights doing and stuff, because the knights are talking about Nika being a danger and all this stuff, and they want the kids. But yeah, it's pretty crazy where One Piece is going. I'm super excited. So it's fun reading these manga chapters as they come out, and that's like the experience that I'm here for. Because there's a lot of people who may have like super enjoyed One Piece and they're not here right now. So I think every chapter that I get to read is a blessing. So another manga that I've been trying to read is Claymore. Claymore it's just berserk. Claymore just gives berserk and The Witcher in so much vibes. I actually really like it. I don't know if I ever attempted to watch the anime before, but some of the art does seem a little familiar. But I'm enjoying the story, so we're gonna talk about that far more when I get further into it later in the week. But other than that, I super looking forward to what's gonna come out in the future and where these manga is gonna take us, what games are gonna be showing off in the summer. It's gonna be so cool. So you guys gotta stick around with me and just experience these games and these stories for what they have to offer. And that's pretty much it. You guys stay safe. Peace.